Hello everybody, this is Albert from Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to continue this series of what is and talk about what is a tisane. Now before we begin, I highly recommend you go check out episode 1, which is what is a tea, which let me give you a hint. A tea and a tisane are completely different, even though we use the word tea lots of times behind tisanes. Go check that one out, and I'll also put in some banners for other episodes here. All right, so what's a tisane? Well, we covered in the previous episode rooibos, or rooibos tea as the South Africans would say, and that is a red tea. And so since it has the name red in it, we think of a color, so we think it's going to be in the Camellia sinensis tea plant family with the greens and the whites and the blacks. But if you watch that episode, you know that red tea or rooibos is not part of that family. It is a non-caffeinated drink that comes from South Africa. So what are tisanes? Tisanes are herbal drinks, herbal teas. Now, the name herbal tea in itself is a misnomer, but we commonly use that term quite a bit. And the correct nomenclature would be just to call it an herbal or to call it a tisane. Like, hey, what are you drinking? Oh, I'm drinking this cinnamon tisane or this peppermint herbal. When we say herbal tea, even though we commonly use that expression, it's actually wrong. Tea comes from the Camellia sinensis or Camellia sinensis assamica. So it comes from that actual plant. So we really shouldn't use the word tea when we're talking about tisanes. So what's a tisane? A tisane is an herbal. It's an herbal. And there's a lot of very popular herbals / tisanes. Sometimes you hear the word botanicals used in this regard too, but botanicals have a slightly more nuanced kind of definition. Most of the time botanicals are going to be used for it's like something like a health thing. So this one boosts immune system, this one does this. So it's going to have more of kind of a health connotation to it. But really, tisanes, even though that word is not used that often, it's going to be any type of non-Camellia sinensis plant, root, flower, that's going to be steeped in water or infused in water, which is the classic thing that we do with all the Camellia sinensis stuff as well, aside from matcha. Now there's decoction. Decoction can be done with herbals, and that's when you put the whatever it is in hot boiling water, and so that releases out whatever it is, and then you're going to drink that water. So decoctions are slightly different than infusions, which is the typical way we drink almost all of these beverages. So in the tisane / herbal world, there's some very popular drinks because all herbals are going to be non-caffeinated. And because they're non-caffeinated, people like to drink them in the evening. Like I'm drinking a sencha right now because it's the morning when I'm recording this, and it's not like this sencha has a lot of caffeine. But I tend to drink a lot of teas up until about 2 o'clock, and then after that I drink tisanes. And I like to drink typically probably the big three, which are, it's not shocking because this is like the big three for a lot of people. A chamomile, a cinnamon, a mint. I like mint cold. I like to drink them, and I drink them all unsweetened. I don't drink anything sweetened. So with the tisanes or with the herbals, there's different places you get them from. So if you look at, you can get something like from the leaf. So herbals or tisanes from the leaf would be something like peppermint. We steep peppermint. Now it's typically chopped up, of course, when you get it, but that is going to be a leaf from a leaf. Another one would be like, I don't know, chamomile. Then you get ones where we are going to use the flower. And the flower, you're going to get something like hibiscus, which is a pretty popular one. I like hibiscus cold. We sell a hibiscus ginger, and I should mention too that we do sell a peppermint and we do sell a chamomile lavender. So that's a flower. Then you get like the fruit ones, and seasonally we might sell like a raspberry leaf or something like that. So those are going to be like berries. They tend to be kind of tart, so lots of times you're not going to find like a pure berry tisane. They normally will mix it with hibiscus or maybe with rhubarb or something like that to kind of balance it out, because most people, there's exceptions of course, don't really like a pure berry tea. Then you have ones that come from like the roots or from seeds. So from here you get the classic masala chai stuff, cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves. So more often than not with the tisanes, you're going to either drink them straight, like I'm going to have a peppermint or I'm going to have a cinnamon, or you see them put into a lot of blends. And that's very, very common. And lots of times these will be marketed as sleepy tea, sore throat tea, cough tea, lose weight tea. You have to be careful with some of these because, again, none of these expressions are really being backed necessarily by science. It's not to say that tisanes aren't healthy for you. They can be healthy for you depending on what it is. Like, for example, peppermint is great for digestion. Ginger, which we haven't talked about, is another one that's great for digestion. So these things, very similar to their essential oils, if you're into essential oils, can actually help you given whatever it is. Like, for example, echinacea, elderberry, these things are commonly used when you have a cold. But I just be very kind of cautious anytime you see somebody selling you a tea that says, this is going to make you lose weight. Because you could drink that particular tea all day, but if you're eating 10 bags of Cheetos, it's probably not going to do enough justice. It's not going to do enough work. So in closing, what are tisanes? Tisanes is the old word for an herbal. Notice, not an herbal tea, because a tea is only from the Camellia sinensis plant. And herbals are great. We sell herbals. They definitely have a great kind of place you can have in your life. And there definitely should be drunk. But just understand, just from my kind of teacher perspective, that don't use the word herbal tea because they are, in fact, herbals or a tisane. And the other takeaway is all of them are caffeinated free, just like Roboy, just like red tea. They're caffeine free. So these are things that you can drink at night. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know what your favorite tisane is. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.